Oh my gosh, I've already exhausted all my vacation days for this year. And now I need a leave. But how do I ask for that? Are you also wondering about the same thing? Then join me in this lesson because in this lesson I'm going to show you how to ask time off or ask for a leave from your boss, but through a conversation. So it's sure going to be a lot of fun. Join me in.
Subscribe and press the bell icon to receive notifications. Don't miss any new lessons.
Excuse me, Mr. Peter. I need to talk to you. Do you have a second? Sure, Liz. Tell me about it. What do you want to say? Mr. Peter, I've already exhausted all my vacation days for this year. I know that, but I was just hoping. Oh, come on. Just tell me. Do you need some time off? Yes, Mr. Peter. I was just hoping that if I could just get some unpaid leaves. Actually, my sister's getting married and the marriage is overseas, so I'll need to go for that. Just tell me what dates are you leaving so that I can plan for your absence during that period. Actually, I'm leaving from September 1st to September 30th. Will that be okay with you? I guess so. Interesting, wasn't it? Did you hear all these phrases in the lesson? I'm sure you would have, but do you want to know what they mean? Let's see. So I started the conversation with saying, have a second. Do you have a second, Mr. Peter? Which means to ask someone for a short time, maybe like a minute or 2 minutes. Second here does not mean, literally second, or you could also say sometimes, do you have a sec, which is quite informal and you can use it in your everyday language. Everyday speech, rather. So asking for a short time. You'd like to use this phrase whenever you're in a hurry and someone is just rushing and you just want a little bit of that time. That's the best time to use this phrase. Now, as I just said, this is a phrase. The structure of this sentence is that it is a phrase. Form. Okay, let's look at the next one. Used up. Used up means I already said that I've exhausted all of my vacation days. So used up means exhausted or finished. You can use it in place of exhausted or finished. So actually, what do you think is exhausted? Is it a phrase? No. What about finished? Is it a phrase? No. These are verbs. And the same way as you can see this D, which can only be added to a verb. So remember, this is also a verb, just to help you out. So you can use this to talk about something that is finished up or finished. Let's look at the next one. My sister's marriage is overseas, means out of the country or across the ocean. Seas here means ocean. So cross the sea, across the ocean or out of the country. Another word for this could be abroad, isn't that? Abroad. And is this a phrase? No. Is this a verb? No. What is it? It is an adjective. Let's look at the next one. Take some time off, which means, as I told you, the topic of the lesson, to ask for a leave for a number of days. If you want to say have a sec, that's asking for a very short time, maybe a minute or so. And this is asking for a leave for a stretch of days. Leave for a stretch of days. Of days. Try not to write or speak this F, it's off, double F. It's very important you remember that. This is a phrase. An English phrase that you can often use to ask for a leave. How awesome it is, isn't it? This is an amazing phrase. I use it quite often. Let's look at the next one. Notice. Notice is a piece of information which warns another person about something or in other cases it informs about something. So a piece of information that can warn or inform about something. If you remember the conversation, you'll know that Mr. Peter said that he wants a notice for 2 months in advance. So before 2 months before she leaves, Mr. Peter wants to be informed about the leave dates. Okay, let's look at the next one. She asked him in the end of the conversation, will you be okay with that, or would that be okay? That means that would you agree with it or not, or do you agree with it or not? Be okay means to agree. Let's look at the next one. Unpaid leave. So a leave that you're not paid for. That's what it means. Un here means not. A leave that you're not paid for. Paid for. We all want paid leaves, isn't it? But sometimes if you have personal engagements, it's better that you take some unpaid leaves if you have used up all your paid leaves. So, what kind of a leave was our dear friend Liz asking for? She was asking for an unpaid leave, but what was the purpose of the leave? It was a personal leave. Personal leave means she was going for a personal reason or a personal engagement, that is her sister's marriage. There can also be something called as maternity leave. So, if you have a little child and you want to take care of your child, or maybe somebody's pregnant and they need a leave for that period of time, they can ask for a maternity leave to take care of their child. There's another leave possible. So many leaves. Isn't it amazing? Sick leave. So if you fall sick and you're not able to go to work, then you can ask for a sick leave. I hope you don't get sick. So now, let's quickly revise what we have learned in this lesson. Have a sec. A polite way of asking someone for a short time. Used up means finished, something that you've completely exhausted, like your leaves, your paid leaves. Overseas is somebody who's living abroad, or something which is across the country or across the oceans. Take some time off means to take a leave, as our lesson says, for a stretch of days and not hours or minutes. It's also possible to take a short leave for a certain number of hours. So you can take that if you need a leave for like about 2 to 3 hours from your work. Let's look at the next one. Notice, to warn someone or inform someone about something that is coming in the future. Be okay with that. Are you okay with that? Means, do you agree with that or not? Unpaid leave is the kind of leave where you are not paid your regular salary. And here you've learned about personal leave that our dear friend Liz was interested in taking from her boss, Mr. Peter, and maternity leave and sick leave. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with the conversation that I shared with you in the beginning of the lesson, so that you know exactly which phrase means what and you can understand the conversation much better than before. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. Excuse me, Mr. Peter. I need to talk to you. Do you have a second? Sure, Liz. Tell me about it. What do you want to say? Mr. Peter, I've already exhausted all my vacation days for this year. I know that, but I was just hoping... Oh, come on. Just tell me. Do you need some time off? Yes, Mr. Peter. I was just hoping that if I could just get some unpaid leaves. Actually, my sister's getting married and the marriage is overseas, so I'll need to go for that. Just tell me, what dates are you leaving so that I can plan for your absence during that period. Actually, I'm leaving from September 1st to September 30th. Will that be okay with you? I guess so.